Greetings, family. Peace and love to you and yours. This is Guru, and thanks for visiting my channel. Trump says he'll immediately deport or imprison up to 3 million undocumented immigrants. The Republican leader is embracing mass deportation. Let's get to this story. So, family, President-elect Donald Trump plans to deport or imprison somewhere between 2 million and 3 million undocumented immigrants as soon as he takes office. In an interview with CBS News that will air tonight, Sunday night, November 13th, Trump said he would launch what could be the largest mass deportation effort in modern history, vowing to immediately deport a number of people comparable to the record-setting figure that President Barack Obama carried out over 2 terms in office. Quote, "What we are going to do is get the people that are criminal and have criminal records, gang members, drug dealers, where a lot of these people, probably 2 million, it could be even 3 million, we are getting them out of our country or we are going to incarcerate," unquote, Trump said in an interview. But we're getting them out of our country. They're here illegally. So, family, in saying that 2 million to 3 million undocumented immigrants with criminal records live in the U.S., Trump was repeating a claim he'd made earlier in the campaign that the Washington Post fact-checked and determined was inaccurate. The Migration Policy Institute, a nonpartisan think tank, estimates that around 820,000 undocumented immigrants have criminal records, a figure that includes many people whose only conviction is crossing the border illegally. Well, it doesn't matter. All of them, I will say, cross the border illegally, which means that all of them are here illegally. Under prosecutorial discretion guidelines in place since 2011, undocumented migrants with minor crimes are in some cases able to avoid deportation. Well, I find that kind of unacceptable. If Donald Trump is going to stick to his words and what he plans to do, I think he should do the right thing. And if all of them are here illegally, then you should do the duty of deporting them all. If it's illegal, it's illegal. Period. There's no gray in between at all. It's either legal or illegally. But a review by the Marshall Project of more than 300,000 recent deportations showed that the majority of deportees had no serious criminal record at all. More than 40% had no criminal conviction, and another 18.7% only had an immigration-related conviction. Less than 20% had a criminal conviction that involved or potentially involved violence. Well, that's as of the writing. I mean, it doesn't mean that those numbers would change or that these criminals would get any better or worse. This study just doesn't show any of that. Again, if they're here illegally and Donald Trump promised that he would take care of illegal immigrants, I say you should do what you said you were going to do. And I know this might hurt a lot of people's feelings, but illegal immigrants are affecting Black Americans here in this country. Not only that, you are affecting other Mexican Americans, you are affecting Asian Americans, you are affecting all of us Americans who are here through the right channels. There are plenty of immigrants who came here and they came here the right way, through the legal channels, and anyone else should be doing the same exact thing. Anything deviating from that, you're here illegally. And if Donald Trump claims that he's going to clean this up and that you are going to be deported or incarcerated, then for all those Black folks who actually voted for Donald Trump, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I read in some of the findings after the election is that a lot of Black folks and people of color voted for Donald Trump simply on the notion that he was and that he is going to take care of the illegal immigrants. The illegal immigrants who are taking American jobs, who they claim Americans would not do. But I would wager that that is a false narrative. I would wager that Americans would actually do those jobs, and especially if they're being paid for it. So I don't go along with that, because if a Mexican person would take a job and get paid for it to support their family, why would you say that no other Americans would take those jobs? That's just a false narrative. I think the outreach to people of color in America that's already here was not even done properly to find out the truth if these people would do those jobs. I think you assumed the fact that, oh, we have illegals coming in across and we'll just pay them pennies and nickels. This way you can claim this false narrative that no other Americans want these jobs. Again, it's just a false narrative. I don't go along with it. And I'm for Donald Trump getting rid of and deporting all of the illegal immigrants who are here. If you're here illegally, I don't want to see you. I just don't. I don't want to see you, because I've seen what many of the illegals are doing here. Some of them are criminals. Not all of them. Some are, and those who are causing major issues. We're not talking about this situation. I'm talking about it within this video here, because I saw this article on Donald Trump that he was going to immediately deport or imprison up to 3 million undocumented immigrants. I was curious what this was about. Once I started reading it, I have to agree that it is the right thing to do. If we're going to actually make America great again, so-called great again, then we need to start doing the right thing. So moving on, it says, quote, after the border is secure and after everything gets normalized, we're going to make a determination on the people that they're talking about, who are terrific people. They're terrific people, but we're going to make a determination at that, Trump said. But before we can make that determination, it's important. We're going to have to secure our border. Exactly. Apprehensions of people crossing the U.S.-Mexican border illegally have dropped to less than a quarter of what they were doing during their peak of 1.8 million in the year 2000. Trump's comments appear to contradict RNC Chairman previous claims last week that Trump would not call for mass deportation, despite the president-elect's hardline immigration stance since the day he launched his campaign, referring to Mexican migrants in broad strokes as, quote, rapists. You all remember that. That's when Donald Trump really did not make inroads with Mexicans, because what he did was he used a stereotype, and he basically voiced that loud stereotype to millions of people. So Priebus said he's not calling for mass deportation, Priebus said on MSNBC's Morning Joe last week. Quote, he said, no, only people who have committed crimes, and then only until all of that is taken care of will we look at what we're going to do next. It's unclear whether Trump could deport or jail that many people that quickly with the resources at his disposal. Deportations are often contested in court, and the ebb and flow of apprehensions at the border at times exceeds the 34,000 beds the federal government reserves on a daily basis to detain migrants. But his enthusiasm for removal suggests that deportations will likely rise when he takes office, after declining sharply last week. Immigration and Customs Enforcement removed 235,413 undocumented immigrants in 2015, the most recent year of which data is available, a sharp decline from the Obama administration's 2012 peak of 409,849 ICE removals. So family, I'm curious what you think about the deportation of the illegal immigrants, of the deportation of criminals, the deportation of people who are actually here in the United States illegally. I'm curious what you think. Please leave a comment, like, share, and subscribe. This is Guru. I really appreciate your time watching. Until the next video, peace and love to you and yours. I'm out.